Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still playing out this major warning signal as the price just perfectly rejected from my exact level of resistance on the price chart, while Ethereum is still playing out this major warning signal, repeating history on the price chart. So yes, I am still shorting Ethereum right now, making a lot of easy profits while the price is dumping. But in just a moment, I'll be sharing exactly how I'm planning to make a lot of profits from the next move about to happen very soon. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But of course, on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have a major bearish divergence, which is just now beginning to play out. It's already been confirmed over the last few weeks or so, because obviously we've already confirmed higher highs in the price of Bitcoin and lower highs in the weekly Bitcoin RSI, telling us for the last few weeks that we're likely going to see a lack in bullish momentum and potentially a larger pullback, or at least a larger slowdown in the price over the next few months or so as a very likely scenario. And so while pretty much everyone else out there in crypto has been telling you we're about to hit massive new all-time highs, continuing with a major bull market, I've been one of pretty much the only people out there, or one of the very few people out there, warning about this larger slowdown or a possible larger pullback coming later this month, or most likely leading into the next month as well. Once again, over the next couple of months as a very likely scenario, exactly as I've been warning about over the last few weeks. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, like I said in my last video, we're starting to now gain a bit more bearish momentum, but still kind of lacking momentum. So we're not necessarily showing a significant amount of bearish momentum compared to what we saw back here, for example. But with that being said, it is looking more bearish than we are bullish, at least based on the 3-day Bitcoin MACD, looking at the momentum. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, of course, alongside the bearish divergence on the weekly time frame that I've been warning about, I've also been warning about this massive bearish divergence already confirmed and already starting to play out on the daily Bitcoin price chart, with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the daily Bitcoin RSI. And so once again, this has been telling us since all the way back around here that we're most likely going to see a continued pullback, or at best maybe some sideways price action, but basically don't expect a lot of bullish momentum or bullish price action, at least for the following days or weeks, is what I've been saying over the last half a week or so. And obviously this has been perfectly playing out as I've been predicting. And so right now, the next major price target to watch out for, the next key level of support, at least on the daily Bitcoin price chart, is this level right here, where we bounced from previously based on previous resistance all the way back here, and that's sitting at around 112,000, but really in between around 110,000 to 112,000. In that area right there, I would expect a lot of support for the price of Bitcoin if we can actually reach that area. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, obviously, like I've already been saying here in the channel, on the smaller time frames, like the 8-hour time frame over the last few days, I've been saying we've already confirmed this bearish divergence since basically all the way back up here is what I've been saying, and we're most likely going to see a bit more of a pullback as a very likely scenario. And so ever since we broke below especially 117,000, which was a key level of support on the price chart, ever since we broke below that level, simply the price was just flipping much more bearish, at least in the short term, which is why, or at least one of the reasons as to why I entered an Ethereum short position, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But right now, obviously, Bitcoin's still looking bearish. We did bounce from this support, which was sitting at close to 115,000 just the other day, came back up to retest 117,000, which I warned in my last video, expect resistance at exactly 117,000, which is exactly to the nearest cent where we rejected from, as we could see right here, acting as resistance, as I talked about since before that perfect rejection. And so now that the price is rejected from that level and actually breaking below 115,000, this support level right here, especially if we confirm candle closes below 115,000, once again, the next major price target towards the downside is this level at around 112,000, really in between 110 to 112K. And now we're possibly forming a bullish divergence just on the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, because we already have lower lows confirmed right here in the price, and we're possibly forming higher lows in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI. But I want to make this clear, at least at the time of recording this video, we've not yet confirmed this possible bullish divergence. It's just something I'm pointing out in case it might confirm in the coming hours or over the next one day if the price bounces very soon. But if the price just keeps dumping here, then obviously we don't confirm the higher low in place in the RSI. This will just keep dumping, potentially forming a lower low, meaning no divergence. And so for now, the divergences that are actually confirmed and are actually playing out in the price of Bitcoin is, of course, this bearish divergence in the short term, this bearish divergence on the daily time frame in the kind of midterm, and this bearish divergence on the weekly time frame in the mid to longer term. So 3 different significant bearish divergences, all confirmed, all active, playing out right now for the price of Bitcoin across 3 significant time frames. And once again, I've been warning about this every day for days, if not weeks now on the channel, especially if we're talking about this larger bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. And in terms of price targets to watch out for, if we're looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we are just now at the time of recording this video wiping out this area of liquidity, which I talked about in my last video, sitting at roughly 114,000. So obviously, once again, we're taking out that liquidity after just the other day we took out this liquidity sitting at just above 115,000. And so obviously, now that the price of Bitcoin has already wiped out those levels of liquidity, that basically means we don't really have any new levels of liquidity right now to pay attention to that's at least relatively close to the price of Bitcoin. But we do have a small amount still building in between 112,000 to 113,000. So it is possible we could continue another slight little drop. Once again, the next target is really this next major level of support here, starting at roughly 112,000. But once again, in between 110K to 112K is that area of support that I'll now be focusing on. And by default, if you're thinking we should be more bullish or more bearish, overall, we're simply just looking bearish. That's the situation in the shorter term, at least for the next few days or possibly weeks, possibly even a number of months based on this bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. But at least the next few days or weeks, it's likely we're going to be lacking bullish momentum, seeing a lot of weakness in the price, is what I've already been warning about for the last half a week to almost 1 week now. But of course, you can still trade these moves with short positions, for example, to make a lot of profits along the way towards the downside, which I'll talk about in just a moment with this short position, which I'm currently in. And personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on BTNX. So I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading and deposit bonuses and also a huge 25,000 USDT prize pool. So for example, simply just by trading crypto using that link, you can enter this huge prize pool here. And if you have large trading volume or a decent P&L, so decent profits in terms of percentage, or if you're a new user using the link below this video, etc., there's multiple ways where you can actually get a major share in this huge $25,000 prize pool simply just by trading crypto using that link. So it's essentially free money from the exchange just by trading crypto, but once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go using that first link below this video to take advantage of these huge bonuses here and get a share in this major prize pool right here. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BTNX as an exchange, there's also Pinex as another exchange out there that I also use. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Pinex below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page where you can also claim some massive bonuses. For example, if you simply just make an account using that link below this video, it takes about 60 seconds to do this. Make an account and complete KYC. You get a $50 bonus, a free $50 from the exchange onto your Pinex account to trade crypto over on Binance, which is only available if you use that link. And also deposit bonuses here. For example, if you deposit just $100, you get a $100 bonus, free money from the exchange onto your account. Or if you deposit $10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. But once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, definitely check this out. Take advantage of these bonuses here, only available using those links. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can access Pinex without KYC as well. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance on the 3-day time frame, and right now, just in the immediate short term, we are seeing a slight bounce in the Bitcoin dominance, which at least in the immediate short term, while this is happening, this is of course not good for the altcoin market. And so obviously, like what we saw just here when we were bouncing from this previous area of support, while the Bitcoin dominance was in that little bounce right there, while that was happening, a lot of altcoins actually had some decent pullbacks before ultimately seeing some major recoveries over the last 1 to 2 weeks in this pullback in the Bitcoin dominance. So once again, if the Bitcoin dominance is bearish, that's good for altcoins. If the Bitcoin dominance is bouncing like it's doing right now, that is not good for altcoins. And like I talked about in my last video, we have a possible bullish divergence forming right now, but not yet confirmed, as we do clearly have lower lows in the price and potentially some slight higher lows forming, but not yet confirmed in the RSI on the 3-day Bitcoin dominance chart. And so honestly, if this ends up playing out here, if we see more confirmation to confirm the bullish divergence, maybe we end up seeing a retest of this area on the price chart in between 60.5% to 61% in the Bitcoin dominance. And it's likely we'll find some resistance around there, but at least while we're seeing that retest, while we're seeing that short-term bounce, during that bounce, once again, that could mean a lot of altcoins might be pulling back, at least in the short term. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, obviously Ethereum is indeed experiencing a significant rejection and a major pullback from close to all-time highs. Obviously, the price saw a major breakout above this area and head pretty much straight towards almost $5,000, around 4.8K, right around the previous all-time high, before running into this area of resistance based on the previous all-time high in between 4.8K to 4.9K. So still expect a lot of resistance around there, just under 5,000. And for the bulls out there, you better hope that Ethereum holds above this area on the price chart, sitting in between around 3.9K to 4.1K. And that will likely act as strong support for Ethereum because it's based on previous very significant resistance, and usually a significant area on the price chart stays a significant area on the price chart. But in this case, because we're approaching it from the upside, it would likely be acting as major support. But if we start confirming, for example, weekly candle closes back below 3.9K, well below 4,000, that would be extremely bearish for the larger price structure for Ethereum, possibly resulting in a much larger crash in the next few weeks or months if we first confirm a break below 3.9K. But once again, at least for now, that's not yet happened. There is still a high chance that we'll find a lot of support in this region in between 3.9K to 4.1K. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum price chart, obviously the price of Ethereum is continuing to play out this major bearish divergence, which I've already been warning about every day since almost this exact top right here. Right around here is when I've been warning about this bearish divergence. And then of course I waited for 2 candle closes in the red. So basically when the price was at about 4.4K to 4.5K, right here is when I said this is now confirmed, which means we should be expecting more of a pullback coming soon. From about 4.5K is when I've been saying that, and obviously we have been seeing more of a pullback since 4.5K as predicted. And of course, the last bearish divergence we saw on the daily Ethereum price chart was a small one right here, which played out for close to 1 week. But the last bearish divergence of a similar size to what we're seeing right now was this one right here, which confirmed in around mid-June, and that played out for roughly 2 weeks. So if we're actually measuring that move from the daily candle close right here to the actual low, that was around 11 to 12 days, as we could see. And it was about a 25% pullback, well over a 20% pullback in the price of ETH from high to low. As if we're measuring the current move from roughly the candle closes here on the daily time frame to where we are right now as of recording this video, we're only down about 12% from high to low, which means we still potentially have more room to go. So it's possible that on this pullback right here, we could potentially retest this area in between 3.9K to 4.1K, which will be a crucial area to hold for Ethereum. And so especially while Bitcoin is showing weakness in the short term, and of course, while the Bitcoin dominance is seeing a slight bounce, this is causing Ethereum versus Bitcoin. This is ETH BTC, so Ethereum priced in Bitcoin rather than priced in US dollars on the daily time frame. Right now, this is of course bearish, experiencing weakness in the shorter term and a slight pullback, playing out an active bearish divergence on the ETH BTC chart. And so in case you're new to all of this, essentially what this means is Ethereum right this moment is underperforming Bitcoin. So Ethereum is doing a bit worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin is pulling back, showing a lot of bearish price action, a lot of weakness, and if Ethereum is doing worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing, think about what that means. That means more of a pullback, very likely for Ethereum against the US dollar. And I've already been warning about this for days now on the channel, for almost a week now on the channel since these highs. And so especially since about 3 to 4 days ago now, you can check my last few videos. For the last 3 to 4 videos, I've been saying I'm looking for short positions, but the signal I was waiting for was a break below this level for the price of Bitcoin, because for some time, for a couple of days, we were finding a bit of support along that level at 117,000. So I said right back there a few days ago now, you can even check my videos on this channel, I said if we break below 117,000 personally, I'll be looking at shorting Ethereum, especially if ETH BTC continues to play out a bit of a pullback here. And so because we confirmed all of the signals I was looking for, a bearish divergence for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, bearish divergence for Ethereum against the US dollar, and of course a breakdown in the price of Bitcoin, as well as a slight bounce starting to play out in the Bitcoin dominance. All of the signals I was looking for to short Ethereum, which is why I said in my last video, I am now shorting Ethereum, putting my money where my mouth is and actually making profits on the analysis I've been sharing over the last few days since before I took this trade. And whenever I short crypto, whether it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, or anything else, I get a lot of comments here on the channel telling me that I'm going to get completely wrecked. I'm going to lose all my money because we're meant to be in a bull market. So why should I be shorting crypto? And well, obviously we can see decent pullbacks during a potential bull market. So even if this still remains a bull market later on at some point, it is still likely that at least for now in the shorter term, we're going to see a bit more of a pullback, as I've been saying here on the channel, which is why I'm shorting crypto. And so despite a bunch of people commenting on my last video here on the channel telling me that I'm going to lose all my money, getting completely wrecked on this short position, it's actually quite the opposite. I'm making a lot of easy profits right now while everyone else out there is losing money. And so right now, this one short position here is currently up over $10,000, over $11,000 in profits. As you can see, currently about $8,000 in unrealized profits, and I've already secured now about $3,000 in realized profits in about 1 to 2 days of a quick short position. And so obviously over the last one day, once again, I have slightly reduced the size of the trade, securing more profits here because we are running into a bit of potential support closer towards around 4.1K, 4.2K as we approach this significant area. Once again, it is possible we could find some support around here, which is why I just slightly reduced the size of the trade, taking some profits off the table, but still overall short on Ethereum. So right now, I'm currently in roughly $140,000 Ethereum short position, once again continuing to make a lot of easy profits as the price is pulling back. And so even if we see more of a pullback here, that should not be bad news. In fact, any volatility should be good news for a crypto trader like myself. Obviously, if you're trading crypto, it doesn't matter what direction the price goes, we can make money in both directions. As I've been sharing here on the channel, obviously about a week ago, I made over $30,000 from this move in Bitcoin with a long position. And then on this move right here, just in the last 1 to 2 days, over $10,000 in some quick profits, while everyone else out there is losing their money. And so this is why it is so important to stay subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I'm sharing these trading strategies before I'm even taking the trades. I shared this trading opportunity days ago now on the channel over the last 3 to 4 days. You can check the videos here on the channel. They are still there. And so my plan moving forward with this trade is to simply follow my same strategy I've already been saying over the last few days. So to remain short on Ethereum, continuing to expect more bearish price action, continuing to profit from more of a pullback here. And then as we approach certain points of support, so once again, as we approach this area, especially around 4.1K, 4,000, I'll take a bit more profits at each of these levels, but not closing the entire trade, just slightly reducing the size of the trade at each of those levels of support. And why I'm actually doing that is if the price bounces at one of those levels of support, then in that case, I would have already taken some profits off the table right here, already secured some profits, and with a stop loss sitting in some slight profits here, ultimately the worst case scenario is I'm still making profits from the trade. But of course, I'm not closing the entire trade at any one of those levels, so that if the price just keeps pulling back and breaks below these levels of support, I'm still profiting from that pullback, even in that scenario. So no matter what happens here, essentially I've set myself up for a win-win situation. And so that is my exact trading strategy right now, telling you exactly how I'm planning to make a lot of easy profits from this move that is already starting to play out, this pullback playing out from this bearish divergence, likely about to retest some key levels on the price chart. And once again, I'm taking this trade right here over on my BitNex account. So once again, I'll make sure to leave a link to BitNex below this video. That first link below this video, you can claim some major bonuses that are only available using that link. But with that being said, taking a look at Solana on the 2-day time frame, and right now Solana is continuing a pullback and a rejection from this significant area of resistance, still sitting in between around 190 to 200. And so like I've already been warning about over the last few days, it's very likely that Solana is going to continue to show weakness in the short term, especially if Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins are doing the same. Obviously, Solana is going to play out weakness and most likely more of a pullback in the short term term, it's unlikely Solana will play out a major bullish move while the rest of the crypto market is pulling back. And so now that the price is just now starting to break below around 180, it is quite likely we could retest this level on the price chart sitting at around 167. So at around 167 to 170, expect some support around there. But if we break below that level, in that case, we have more support at about 156 to 157 and major support in between 143 to 146. And overall, honestly, just expect a bit more of a pullback, a lot of weakness, still somewhat lacking bullish momentum and starting to build a bit of bearish momentum, but not necessarily significant bearish momentum. So not necessarily what we saw back here, but maybe what we saw just here or just here, for example, is a likely scenario moving forward. And if we're taking a look at XRP on the weekly time frame, as I've already been warning about for a long time now on the channel, obviously long-term viewers here on the channel would already know about this by now. We have a major bearish divergence already confirmed on the weekly XRP price chart, with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the weekly XRP RSI, telling us it's very likely we're going to see a lack in bullish momentum at best, but honestly, most likely a bit more of a pullback is a very likely scenario over the next few months. So I'm talking about later this month, entering into September, maybe even October. It's likely that we're going to see basically more bearish price action, or at least a lack of bullish momentum over the next few weeks or months. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, at least for now, and as I've been saying since $3.40, since we broke below $3.40, I've been saying every day since then that we are seeing significant bearish price structure, larger bearish price structure. Of course, we could see short-term bullish moves here and there, but the bigger picture is still looking bearish, still looking very similar to what we saw near the beginning of this year, especially around late January, entering into February and around March. Obviously, if we're simply looking at the larger price structure, it's looking very similar to what we are seeing right now. But remember, it is possible we could see some decent bounces here and there in the short term during the larger pullback. But overall, if we're talking about the next multiple weeks or possibly multiple months, technically we are looking more bearish than we are bullish. Once again, as I've been saying basically every day since $3.40. And so when it comes to support and resistance levels to watch out for, first of all, in case we see any sort of bounce here from a level of support, expect a lot of resistance at around 310 to 315 and major resistance in between 335 to 340 if the price would actually get back to those levels. But overall, in terms of support, considering we are obviously in a pullback right now, expect some support at roughly 290, really in between around $2.90 to $3 is an area of support to watch out for. But if we break below $2.90, especially with candle closes below $2.90, it's possible we could retest this low right here, acting as support, sitting at around $2.75, and below that we have a significant area likely acting as strong support, sitting in between around $2.55 to $2.62, if of course we break below these other levels first. But right now, the first level to watch out for is at about $2.90. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, obviously Chainlink, along with the rest of the crypto market, is experiencing yet another short-term pullback. Clearly, the larger price structure, at least as of right now, is still technically bullish, forming higher lows and higher highs. But right now, we're simply retesting this key area on the price chart based on previous resistance, which could now act as new support. And recently, we did see a bit of a short-term bounce with the previous daily candle close from this level, and that's really sitting in between around $24 to $25. So expect some support around here. But if we actually confirm a break below $24 with, for example, a daily candle close confirming below $24, and especially if we fail to get back above that area, see some sort of rejection from that area, flipping it into new resistance, in that situation, it's possible we could even see a further pullback down towards roughly $20 to $21 as the next strong area of support, if we first confirm a break below $24. And so I'll definitely keep a close eye on that $24 level, because once again, if we break that level, that would not be good news, at least in the shorter term for the following days or possibly weeks. And if we're taking a look at the daily Chainlink price chart, looking at this chart right here, obviously we still have a bearish divergence possibly forming, but not yet currently confirmed. We're still waiting for at least this daily candle close right here to confirm in the red, which at the time of recording this video is looking likely, but once again, we're still needing some confirmation here. And so we have already clearly confirmed higher highs in the price, but we're waiting to reconfirm the lower high again in the daily Chainlink RSI. So once again, especially if we break below $24, which for now has not happened, but if that happens here, it's likely that would confirm the bearish divergence, basically pointing towards a bit more of a cool down or a pullback over the next few days or weeks is a very likely scenario. But once again, really, if we break below $24, if we still hold that level, we're still looking okay for Chainlink. And so that is my trading strategy right now, showing exactly how I'm making a lot of profits in this current market, even while the prices are pulling back, while everyone else out there is losing money. Everyone else out there has been telling you to buy long. I've been here on the channel telling you how to make profits from the coming bearish price action before all of this is played out. And so obviously, once again, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. And if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim these massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade it just like this to make a lot of easy profits in crypto, no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.